Okay.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it's recording. Okay.
Cool. I think that should be our intro. The intro's just that. Just you whispering to yourself and me chilling here.
Okay. Walking on the streets of DC.
Don't know it.
On the East Coast where I live. It's East Coast Anthem by Good Charlotte, Marcus. Get a life,
What
you.
Good Charlotte album?
Their very first one.
Frick no, dog. I listen to Young and the Hopeless.
That's a good album too.
That's
probably
wicked good.
That's their best one, but I've been listening to their first one lately because I really like their first one.
I like the Little Things. If you had done Little Things, I could have done Little Things.
I thought about doing that one. I was going to do that one, then I thought, no, I much prefer East Coast Anthem.
I could have done Little Things, Ian. The Little Things.
Okay.
I'm the guy who invented the thing that's gonna take us out of this place. If you could read my mind, you would know what kind of pajamas I want when it comes to bedtime. Footy pajamas. Footy pajamas.
Okay. How does it start? What's the first line? The Little Things?
I don't know. I know the cadence.
Yeah, I can't.
And we had to ride the bus. Good Charlotte. What lyricist?
Yeah, dude, I love Good Charlotte.
Just literal slam dunking, you know?
It is.
What the show is. So, Ian, explain to them your clever workaround on actually cutting your hair and looking like an adult.
What? Oh, yeah, I did cut my hair just like promised from the last episode, but I cut it in the back, so it looks kind of like.
So Ian has a reverse mullet.
Imagine Sokka from Avatar, and yes, we just reference Avatar again on the show.
He's business in the back, partay up front.
That's what it's all about. I would like to go on record saying I was gonna do a mohawk because it was Crazy Hair Night at the children's thing at our church that I help out with.
It's called Awana, Ian. People know what Awana is.
People don't know what Awana is. Okay.
Everybody listening to our show knows what Awana is.
That's fair. Anyway, I went to go have my sister cut my hair, and she's like, "Oh, Ian, you should try this." And so I let her cut it however she wanted, and I don't know, it doesn't look too bad, so I'm just gonna leave it.
What has my life been like? It's been the worst. I worked out with my friend the other day because I want to get in good shape for the wedding.
Dude,
and
don't
I've
work
been
out.
so sore, and it's the worst.
Don't work out, dude.
It's the worst. And Zachary's been like, hey, you should probably, one...
Oh, wait, is this Zach Hall?
Yeah. So he's been like, one, Marcus, you have to eat food, and two, Marcus, the food you do eat cannot be trash. I'm like, weird, Zachary. Literally all I had yesterday was a bag of popcorn. So I've been eating more food than ever in my whole life, and I'm not hungry at all. And I feel miserable from being sore. That's my life, Ian.
Sounds like a terrible garbage trash life. I've been doing nothing. I've been working. So
I've been doing nothing. Ian, gosh. What is
Marcus,
this show?
what's...
Who are we?
Oh, I was just going to ask that. This is Let Me Pitch This To You, episode 16. Total, but it's...
16 minutes left. 16 minutes. Get ready.
Episode 1 of season 2. If you guys remember from last episode, we closed season 1. So this is now season 2.
So you're saying it's actually episode 1. It's episode 1 of season 2.
Yeah.
No, screw that. It's episode 16. This is episode 16 of Let Me Pitch This To You.
Episode 16, that's right. Although I might look at trying to get the last few episodes, like at least taking the maybe the best of episodes, put them on a DVD. That might be possible.
Yeah, I feel like the best pitch I've ever done on this show is the one where I talked about that D&D character I made.
Oh yeah.
Like that's my favorite.
Which episode was that?
I feel like it's 2 or 3. However,
it wasn't the Lost episode, was it?
No. The Lost episode is great.
What did we pitch on that? I know
my pitch.
I kind of remember mine. It was based off the Winter Soldier comic book
by Ed Brubaker because that book's a slam dunk.
It's great.
It's so good, dog.
That's
Brubaker
what I
wrote like Captain America for years, and it was all great.
Oh yeah, I have several of his books.
Wasn't
They're
all great. It kind of dropped off at the end.
Shoot.
If you're thinking, Marcus, why do you sound like an idiot? I have a cold.
That's fair.
Hear that? Is that great audio? Isn't that phenomenal audio?
That's okay. If this was an audio-only podcast, like a radio show, that might be an issue. But since there's visual aspects of it, and they already have to deal with looking at us.
That's fair. Except for Ian. Ian's the most attractive.
That's true.
I'm so good looking. Don't listen.
All right, so
What
we're gonna jump.
What we do?
What? Oh, Marcus, what do we do on this show?
This is an idea podcast where me and Ian take about a week to think of an idea and prepare it the best we can to
5 minutes before.
discuss it. Really? Yours are 5? Dude, I spend like a week on every single one. And so
I used to, and then I got really busy.
And
And
some of you guys are going to be thinking like, Marcus, you spend a week on some of those? Some of those you spend a week on? Yeah, but we spend a week thinking of ideas. Usually stories, but theoretically could be anything. We have like 1 or 2 pitches that aren't necessarily story ideas.
we have a couple of video game ideas that are pretty good. Send it on the grab bag.
Yeah, and stuff. So it's just creative people using podcasts as a creative outlet to talk about
Creative stuff.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an idea podcast, basically. So, you want to jump right into
Oh, let's say
MMM?
who won.
Oh,
Also,
We don't know
the podcast police talked to me last time. I do know who won. We had 1 vote, and it was me. Suck it. But the podcast police said that any time that Ian won before cutting his hair doesn't count, and I win by default. So, I win a lot. I'm winning, I think, because of that.
no.
Yeah.
That's not a thing, Marcus.
It's weird because
But you
it
did
isn't
get 2
fair.
votes last episode, so that's fair. I didn't put a lot of effort in mine. I'm not
Wait,
going
we
to
got
lie.
2 votes?
Yeah, one from Jeremy, one from Matt.
Jeremy is voting for episode 14, dog.
Oh, that's 14. I'm sorry, my bad.
It's all good.
It's hard to read, dude.
Numbers are so hard, man.
Hey,
All right, let's jump into.
I don't have glasses on.
M cubed.
All right, Matt, what Matt has to say. I've never actually seen or played any Pokemon, so suck it, Marcus. Like ever. Although I have seen that dumb lightning raccoon thing on coffee mugs around
It's
the
an
office.
electric mouse, Matthew.
So most of Marcus's pitch just sounded like random syllables to me. It's okay, Matt, you're not alone. I play a little bit of Pokemon.
I would love to never be exposed to Pokemon, really, and then have people tell me Pokemon. Like, that'd be a fun game. Find a friend who's never played Pokemon, and then make up a bunch, be like, here's 4 names. Tell me which one of those 4 things is not a real Pokemon. Try. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be a fun game to play.
Is that your pitch?
No, that'd be great, though.
In fact, it might even be time for a gritty reboot. Oh, wait, what is it? But you are definitely right that now is the time for a gritty reboot of literally everything. In fact, it might even be time for a gritty reboot of your podcast.
Ian, can
Think
we
about
cut and make the lights a little bit brighter, and then we both take our shirts off?
No, we're not going to do that.
Right there.
We're not going to do that because
Just for like a second.
me taking my shirt off would blow you out of the water taking your shirt off. I'm saying I'm better looking.
It's just gritty, you know. It's gonna be right on that razor's edge because we gotta be edgy as heck. I think I figured out why our podcast is not taking off, Ian. We're not edgy enough.
So you should
I'm gonna
start
need you
wearing
to get
eye
a-
makeup,
I'm gonna
and I
need-
should get a mohawk.
I'm gonna need you to get that mohawk and pierce maybe 1 to 2 ears. I'm gonna start freaking putting like a raccoon mask, like Gerard Way would do.
Yep, and a tattoo right here.
And then get a huge tat, dog. And then I think our podcast was
It would.
right up there.
For sure.
That's why people don't listen to us.
That was first paragraph of M Cubed. Second paragraph. The idea of petty squabbles set against the backdrop of a looming huge threat seems like a good way to frame this. It worked for Game of Thrones.
I've never seen Game of Thrones because I don't watch Sinner TV shows.
Yeah, well, Matt reads the books. So.
Roasted. There's a roast, Matt. I got you.
For what it's worth, I think the first ending works better, especially for people that aren't as well versed in poke lore. Is it poke lore or poke whatever?
I would say pokey.
I don't remember what the first ending was. Was
First
that
ending's the one we did not go with, and it was the one where
they all
Olga and
died?
Dialga just end space and time, and
Yeah.
the movie just ends, just like. I think.
Third paragraph. My first thought on Ian's idea was actually Pink Floyd's The Wall. So I'm glad Marcus called him out on that.
I dunked right on Ian last
But then I thought about it more. It isn't Ian basically. Thought about it. Isn't Ian just basically pitching the idea of a musical? Kind of. If you just want a modern band to score a musical, I guess I'm down with that. Yeah, I did kind of think of like a musical aspect of mine, and I didn't want it to go down that road, but in turn it kind of did. But like, I guess if you imagine like a modern rock band like scoring like, I guess I'd be okay with that for my pitch. But anyway, that's Matt's Majestic Mind.
He also, in his email to vote for last episode, he said something that, like, this actually was, like, really cool. Because he talked about, he said neither one of the ideas were really, like, something he could really jam on. He essentially said,
I don't like musicals. I don't like Pokemon.
he was like, I don't like either of those things. Like, neither one of those are my jam, but he was like, you guys are getting into, like, sort of a groove of talking to each other and interacting. Like, that's good to know.
That's good.
Even if you thought the pitches weren't great, that we're at least getting better at talking to each other and interacting. So,
which I'm terrible at talking. So.
That's fine. Yeah, Ian's real bad, and that's why he's freaking, like, his quarterly like review is coming up, and Ian might get the axe, and I'll have to find a friend. Just a friend, you know. I don't have any other ones.
Your quarterly review might be coming up too, and you will.
And I'm just
you will
dunking
get hacked.
on it. Hacked?
Is that what you said? I'm pretty sure you said.
Get the axe, like you're cut, like you're fired. You're gonna stay on. I am gonna have to take an arm and a leg, though. It's gonna cost you an arm and leg to stay on this podcast, literally.
I could have swore you said hacked. That's why I went with it. I'm like, that's a weird thing to say, but is that what they're saying nowadays? I don't know.
I had a fun conversation with one of my employees about slang because she's still in high school, and I was like, do people still use, like, Word? And she's like, no. In what way? Word?
Like Word?
Yeah, like
Microsoft Word?
Yeah. Ian, I hate you.
I'm sorry.
You want to go first?
I couldn't help it. Finish your story if you want.
No, that was pretty much it.
That was it? Okay.
No, I essentially just threw out a bunch of slang that I know and use, and she was like, well, that's stupid. I hate you. So
yeah.
Like, okay, cool. You're fired.
Shoot, I guess I'll go first. So my idea I came up with a while ago. So bear with me if it's a little rough. But I actually tried to make a comic out of it. I got through like one page, and then I was done.
Ian, what if you were a witch and you just turned everybody into a bear when you said bear with me?
Bear.
I'm sorry, that's a dumb joke.
I do believe it'd be wizard.
No.
Are you saying I'm not cool enough to be a wizard?
Well.
I could be a wizard.
Well.
Maybe.
Well.
No, I'm not saying I'd be a warlock.
Let's not get crazy. A dryad at best.
Okay, that's fair. I'll take that. So anyway, my idea, it's kind of a superhero idea. I thought of this a while back, and this superhero, he'd have the power of teleporting. But I want to explain. There'd be more to it than that. He would, his power would come through, like, he could, what's the best way to explain it? Imagine in, like think about Star Trek, and when they would, like, teleport, and, like, their molecules would be broken down, then they'd be
me down, Scotty.
So it'd be kind of like that, only, like, this guy would have the ability to dissolve his body into electricity and energy, because, like, you know, your body has electricity in it, and then send the electricity literally anywhere throughout, like.
That's how the Emperor did it. He just cut himself a little bit and shot those lightning electricity out of his fingers.
And he could. I feel like this might have been done before, but then he could travel through other electrical circuits or through, like, radio waves, anything that, like, electricity can travel on, which I guess could be anything really. And that's how he teleports. My first thought for a name, and granted I was like 15, maybe even 14, was radio wave, but I hate that, so we're not going with that. But yeah, he could travel.
Question. Can we put, like, a comma or colon or whatever it is in it? To where it's not like radio wave is one word, it's two words, and it's like radio wave.
But basically, yeah, so, like, he breaks down his molecules into electricity, and he travels via radio waves and like electrical circuits. I also, when I was a kid, I always wanted to like. I can't remember what comic book it was, but you remember Electro, the Spider-Man villain?
If it's about
No, it's not about that.
Let's guess Spider-Man.
What?
Said if you're talking about a comic book about Electro, why don't we guess that it's a Spider-Man comic?
Yeah, he's one of the villains from Spider-Man, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. When I was a kid, I read a comic book with him in it, and I thought the power of electricity was
Wicked OP.
It was pretty cool. So that's kind of how I started to think of the idea. But that's pretty much all I have.
What's he do? Why is he a superhero? What's his origin story, Ian?
I don't have an origin. I did have an origin story.
How old are you?
A long time ago.
How many years old are you? Tell me real quick, Ian.
I am 12 years old.
Ian, don't lie to me. Tell me how many years old you are.
I'm 27 years old.
Ian, you told me another lie. Are you 20 or are you 19?
19.
19. So you've had 4 years to flush this story out, and you're giving me maybe a paragraph.
Yeah.
Ian,
hey, I'm giving you a pitch. I'm not giving you a story like you do.
I spend a week and I talk for an hour.
Exactly. I don't want to do that. I just want to give a short pitch.
So you want to lose every time?
But yeah, I don't really have too much of an origin story.
Is it a male or a female?
Except, one of the main things was like that I wanted him to be some kind of mad scientist, not like a bad guy, but just kind of crazy.
Just a real grumpster.
But just kind of like crazy in the head. You get what I'm saying?
No, I imagine he's just mad. He's just kind of grumpy at life.
Like, it got that mad scientist vibe, kind of like he knows too much about what he does, and he's just a little crazy. You get what I'm saying?
No. Kind of like, wait, I got it. Kind of like, think less Matt Smith Doctor and more, Capaldi Doctor.
Was that the Doctor after Matt Smith? Okay, I didn't watch past season 3, and I only watched a few episodes of Matt Smith, so I wouldn't know. I'm sorry.
No, he's just like a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
But like still the Doctor, so kind of insane.
That's fair. I'm not going to get behind that because I don't know who that is. Not going to lie.
That's the way I'm visualizing.
But sure. I guess that'd be okay. But yeah, as far as like lore though, I never really came up with any kind of sidekicks. Not that I'm against sidekicks, but I don't know.
He can't jump and kick to the side? It's his weakness. That's his weakness. He can teleport anywhere in the world, but jumping and kicking
to the side, no.
Oh boy,
he's not that athletic.
His weakness is just a big nerd. So he'll be like, boom, teleported here. I'm gonna try to punch him and like roll his ankle as he like walks up to the guy. Oh frick! No, I think like let's give him an origin, and let's give him a name.
So this is where I kind of want to open it up. Is like as far as because I think it's good when we kind of collaborate.
Well, you better buckle in for mine because I have the whole thing written.
Okay, so all right, that's okay.
It's not actually written down, but a lot of it's in my head. No, so do you think that's a good thing to come up with for yours? We come up with an origin story. We come up with a name for him.
That's fair. Because like I'm not like. I guess radio wave's okay, but like I said, I came up with that a long time ago, and I'm not real happy with it. It's kind of a little cheesy.
What about Teleport Man?
That's worse.
I hate you.
So I feel like he should have some kind of assistant. Like I know I said not necessarily a sidekick, but like if he's gonna be like some kind of mad scientist.
Speaking of Doctor Who, a companion.
A companion, yes.
Dang it.
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
I just poked my eye. Frick. Keep going.
And here's another thing, too. What if he wasn't human? Like...
What if he's an alien, has 2 hearts?
Just like the dog. 2 hearts.
And he has those weird blocks that he travels in. We can call him like, the king of... beginnings and ends, kind of, and all that's in between. What do you think of that? Or Time Lord rolls off the tongue better, actually, now that I think of it. What do you think of Time Lord, Ian?
I like it. Let's go with it. Let's go with it.
Dude. What if he has this thing that's kind of like a hammer, but it makes noise and unlocks any doors, but just to be a little
So
crazy
like a
with it.
screwdriver.
Oh, dude. So it's a noise screwdriver that doesn't work on wood.
And it
so
does
it's like,
anything though.
anything else.
It'll
hack and do anything else. But freaking, you walk up to like a wood door.
And that's wait. Let's
Can't
make his
open
arch nemesis. It's gonna be like an R2D2 looking robot with arms sticking out everywhere, and it literally destroys planets.
Oh, you see? Hold up. You see, I think my biggest problem with R2D2 is the fact that R2D2 doesn't have like a weird squid inside of him.
Okay,
You know,
so
like
we're gonna put some kind of alien inside of him,
There's a squid
like
inside.
a Men in Black type of thing, where the alien
He can always
comes
speak
out.
He can speak in this fun, weird dialect.
Dalek, like a Dalek.
Oh, dude, that's what we can call him. Dunk, man.
I think that one's done.
I'm out of Doctor Who jokes, okay?
Okay, that wasn't serious at all.
No, I feel bad for our one listener is Matt because actually, I have another guy from the church I'm going to now listening.
Oh, he's listening, really?
Yeah, Joe's listening. So Joe will probably think that's hilarious because he watches Doctor Who. Matt will
That's
be like,
awesome. Matt's gonna hate it because he doesn't watch Doctor Who.
I'll be like, I don't get it. What the frick?
I've mainly liked season 2 of Doctor Who. No, season 3. Excuse me. I don't know.
You've seen 3.
I've seen up through 3, and I don't remember which one I like better, 2 or 3. I didn't get super into it after that.
Okay, fine.
So anyway, but so yeah, so his power would be this teleportation,
and you're
like,
talking about a companion or like
yeah, like some
a
kind of
lackey.
companion, but like not like a sidekick superhero thing. Because I don't know. I guess that wouldn't be terrible.
I'm trying to think of a good analogy for it. Like
what kind of analogy?
Like to compare it to something, because I think I get what you're saying, but like somebody to like banter with, but not like they don't dress up and go out and fight crime with him.
Yeah, for sure.
But like they work with him at like his scientist job.
Yeah. So like someone that might also be pretty smart, that works like in a lab or whatever, you know, kind of the tech person, you know, but doesn't necessarily have powers. I don't know.
What do you think his
I can get
origin story
behind
should be?
Question. Part of me kind of doesn't want him to be human though, like because it's such an obscure power. Like, what if? I don't know what else he could be, but like, what if he somehow created himself, and that's why he can teleport. He can like disassemble his molecules into electricity, like,
or
he literally created himself into a human being.
What about this other character created him? Right?
I could get behind that.
So the other character is also a scientist.
Okay.
Working one day, messing with some kind of space.
Whatever, yeah.
And then, like, something kind of goes wrong. He's messing with it. He, like, dealing with stuff, like, that he doesn't grasp at all. And kind of just, like, throwing some science spaghetti at the wall to figure out what sticks. Leaves. Big explosion at the lab. Almost loses his job. However, the explosion was him, like, getting constituted, right?
Yeah.
Blows up. Guy almost loses his job. Gets moved to another facility. Then this guy starts, like, doing stuff. And then, like, the first, like... Did you say it's going to be a comic? Or
Yeah,
TV
comic
show?
book.
Comic book. So, like, the first 2 issues are, like... That's, like, the first issue. Second, like, 2 to 3, the next 2 issues, let's say, are, like... him seeing this guy, like... So, like, he figures out... Like, you see him adjusting to his new life. Him learning how to use his powers. Then, like, I think we should show... Ooh, what if the scientist is the moral compass, Egan?
Okay.
He's just, like, matter that was created. And, like, somehow kind of has a soul or something, but, like, doesn't understand.
Morals, because he's just like,
yeah,
he's just matter. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting behind when he said he was created. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, he just starts kind of, like, he's like, oh, I'm kind of hungry. So he just goes and steals food. Like, he just takes whatever he wants. or like stuff, and he sees like, hold up, like the readings or whatever I'm getting off of this guy are stuff that like were the same things I was dealing with before that lab exploded. Like he's connected to that somehow. He figures it all out, and then has to like teach him how to be a decent human being.
Human, yeah. I could get behind that.
All right, who's his nemesis?
Who's the nemesis? What if the guy that created him ends up becoming his nemesis? Like, what if he's a moral compass, but then he gets too caught up in everything, and this guy that created everything has to destroy his creator? And so, like, the creator, as he teaches him all, like, how to be a good human, he kind of starts to realize
humanity's the worst.
Yeah, that humanity sucks. But it's all so like he doesn't turn bad. You know how like there's, you know, like sometimes like a villain character will be written not just as a villain, but like they think they're doing good. I think that's interesting. Like sometimes it's nice just to have a villain who's just plain evil, because I think that's, you know, sometimes it's nice to have evil and good. But like, what if he wasn't? He was a villain, but he thought he was doing good because he saw that humanity sucked. And so he started like getting this radio wave, we'll call him, whatever, the created being, to start like doing all these things, like, you know, go destroy that, go do this, you know, this person's really bad, go kill them. And this guy realized like, well, no, that's not what you've been teaching me. And they start to fight about it. You kind of get what I'm saying?
And so, like, he doesn't have a nemesis to, like, issue, like, 30 or whatever. And it's, like, this slow build burn that, like, his big bad guy is going to be the guy that created him, who's also the guy who, like, in a roundabout way is setting up himself for defeat because he taught him morals and how to do right from wrong. That's neat. That's a fun little thing. What do we call him, Ian? What's the superhero's name, Ian?
Shoot.
Lab Rat. That's the best I could come up with. I've been thinking this whole time.
I could maybe for like his name, like what the scientist calls him, like the project name, Lab Rat, because he's like crit. But as far as for a superhero, like eventually if he becomes a superhero, which up until this point I guess he wouldn't be a superhero, because like he's fighting this guy and this guy's having him, you know, like the guy that created is having him do things, but it's not really superhero related. But if he had a superhero name, like, you know, I guess if he teleports through like radio waves and like electricity, what I'm saying, like, I guess radio wave's not a bad name. I just kind of got
I don't hate
tired.
it. Like, you acted like radio wave was going to be stupid, so you'd be like, I thought this when I was 15, I was ready for you to be like, Toey Boy, or something like that. I'd be like, what, Ian? But like, no, I think radio wave is good. Like, I think you dunked on it, Ian.
Okay. Sweet.
No, because like, I thought about it, the only thing I come up with was Lab Rat. But, whatever.
All right, well, that's my pitch.
Do you want to do a commercial break?
Yeah. So.
Ready.
Wait. Okay. So
Are we doing like a real commercial break, or I'm not?
Yeah. We got a commercial break. All right. So, local musician songwriter just released a new song on SoundCloud Friday.
Are you promoting your own stuff? Are you promoting?
I never said that. I just wanted to see what you said.
It's weird. It's Ian Lund. I don't. He didn't pay us money for this promotion, though. Weird.
I pay money in all the work that I put into it, which is zero.
Yeah,
that's not
Ian's been
true.
putting a lot of not effort in.
Dude, you don't put any effort into the show. Besides writing your pitch.
Yeah, who spends more time on their pitch and who's dunking on the other person and
Who
wins?
spends all the time doing all the editing, all the uploading, actually doing the timestamps? Oh, that's a thing.
To be fair, last time you just did timestamps.
Yeah. Oh, I would like to say about the timestamps. They actually are like links to the. I didn't realize it did that. Like I thought that we would just type it out and it'd say, "Oh, Marcus's pitch at 2 minutes," and then you have to go find 2 minutes. But it actually put it in as a link. You click on it, and it'll take you to 2 minutes.
Oh, cool.
Because I know Matt said something about that.
About it not working?
And then I feel like a jerk because I'm like, Matt, it's not supposed to. It's not supposed to be an actual timestamp, but it was.
You made the cardinal mistake of thinking Matt was wrong. That's what
I
you
did.
did
I'm
bad.
sorry. So Matt, I apologize for that.
Let me know when you're ready for my promotional song about our show.
So yeah, that wasn't really a real promotion. I just wanted to see what you would say if I tried to promote my own song. It is on SoundCloud if you want to go check it out.
Ian, what's the name? Search
It's pretty cool. Just look up Ian Lund on SoundCloud if you want to do that. But do you have a commercial bit?
Celebrities, I'm not one, but I'd like to meet one someday for a sick hangout sesh. So if you could share this podcast with your friends and maybe give us money.
And if you're a celebrity and you're watching this, then maybe you could
Tweet about
totally tweet about it, you know?
us. That would be great. Vote for Marcus. Ian sucks.
Don't vote for Marcus.
No, I just clapped. That's the end of the commercial bit.
No, that wasn't the end of the commercial bit.
No, it's weird that it is.
That's the end of the commercial bit. Dude, I do the editing.
Oh, commercial bit started again. Weird. Hey, have you guys ever heard of Gladware? Freaking dog, the best Tupperware you ever find. That's the end. Suck it.
That's okay.
Are you ready for my pitch? I
Yeah.
guess?
Back to the show.
What do you mean? No. It's over. We already ended the commercial bit.
Yeah. I said we're back to the show.
Welcome back. You said back to the show.
Welcome back to the show.
Back.
Okay.
Welcome. What's the Ian?
Why are you splitting hairs with me?
Because I feel real nervous about you trying to take my ending from the commercial bit and make you the person who ended the commercial bit.
Do you really want to be the person that ended the commercial
really
bit?
Really important to me.
Well,
Ian.
suck it. Okay, we are back with Let Me Pitch This To You. And Marcus is going to pitch a totally lame idea, so you can vote for my idea.
Okay, so one thing that I think that came out really clear, I believe it was episode 14, when I pitched a story about a band and like pop punk and kind of them being a genre.
Yeah,
which I
like that idea.
I got cool feedback on that idea, just real quick as a side note, about from the same guy who I was talking about, who I got to listen to the show. His name's Joe, he's really cool. About instead of making it pop punk, to make it a world that didn't have rock music, but each person in the band had so you have pop rock, classical rock, soft rock, hard rock, they all brought that to it. So it'd be they all collectively invented every offspring of genre of rock.
So we gotta pump the brakes on this and go back to this pitch real quick. Would you take this back into the 40s, 50s when there was no rock and roll, and this would be the first rock and roll?
Nowadays,
It'd be like nowadays if rock and roll never happened.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the idea, which is wicked cool and really good.
I could definitely get behind that. That's an interesting thought. We should bring him on the show.
Hey, Ian, go to town for work, and I'll invite Joe to come pitch an episode.
We should have people on the show though,
on an episode. Yeah, I don't have to kick you out of town.
No, I mean a third person on the show.
Every now and then, or constantly.
That'd be every now and then. Not
constantly. I was we have a hard enough time.
That'd be way too much.
Okay, so but one thing I think that came through on that was I really like to think about the idea and the chasm between millennials and the not millennial generation and younger people than millennials and stuff, because you didn't look it up or post it like you said you would. We're not millennials.
We're not?
No.
See, I thought it was everybody it was after born, if you were born after 95 or something. Because I always thought it was 2000.
But then there's
I thought it was everyone that was born after 2000, and then I heard somewhere that it was mid-90s. Because there's people that are mid-20s now that are considered millennials.
Yes,
but
we're just we missed the cutoff by 2 years or something.
So it is 2000. Is it 2000?
Maybe. Then? I have no clue.
We should look that up.
You can Google it while I talk.
Yeah. I will do that, actually.
Yeah, so, but one thing that I think is really cool to think about is that chasm between and why generations argue and bicker and what the differences are and how they could theoretically get along.
Yeah.
So what I've done is, in this really creative and clever way, talked about how I'm gonna make a story around that idea. So it's gonna be a comic book. I'm pitching a comic book. So I actually didn't pitch my goofy one like you said to. I'll pitch that next week probably because I think it's very good. But it's gonna be a comic book called Blue Jay, and it's going to be about a a guy who was born in, let's say, like the 60s. So he's going to be very, very old because it takes place in modern time-ish,
Okay.
per se. But not actually modern time. It's going to be timey-wimey bullcrap, and he'll be a guy who's about 60 years old, but when he was a kid, it's going to be like the 50s.
Okay. So is it going to be flashing back a lot?
Kind of.
Okay.
So our story starts, and there's this very young kid, and he is very agile and quick and clever. Like, have you seen? I didn't like this movie. What's it called? Oh, frick. Zootopia. Did you see Zootopia at all, Ian?
Yes, I did see that. That's
Okay.
a good movie,
Yeah,
actually.
I did not love Zootopia, but one thing I did love about
It was
Zootopia
okay. There was parts
like
of it that were...
the way that like the script and the dialogue between the fox and the bunny.
Yeah.
The fox is so smooth and so clever and so witty. Like he was such a well written.
that's what I loved
like,
about the
dialogue.
movie.
Yeah, like he was so like it's the thing like very much like that. Like, but he's like a kid. So think of him as like maybe 12, but he's just this witty, clever, agile teen, like preteen, who sees something. I don't know what per se, but like kind of like he's at a museum and he's like, hey, that's cool. And he starts to talk to people around the thing, and because he's clever, because he's like he's a very brilliant like I want to like also be like he's not book smart per se,
But he's just a smart person.
but yeah he's like he's street smart.
I know
He's
what you're
savvy.
talking about, yeah.
He's clever.
Yeah,
He talks to guards and things and bumps into people and
just one of those people that can like
Yeah.
talk to anyone.
yeah and
Yeah.
he's so smooth and sneaky and like crafty like and he breaks in to that museum as a 12-year-old and steals art. And he does it flawlessly. Nobody catches him.
Like, is it so? It's like really in-depth break-in, like Ocean's 11 type of break-in, or is it more just like he figures out a way to get past security and?
Both. Like not as like elaborate. Like we're not going to spend a ton of time building up to it, but he talks to
Okay,
guards.
but
He
it's
learns.
fairly elaborate.
Yeah, he learns who's going to be where at what times and what time he can do, and then since he's agile and quick, he learns kind of parkour and stuff over time. But he's been practicing, let's say, and he kind
Okay,
of
fair enough.
breaks in, steals this art, and gets out, and nobody's the wiser. Nobody catches him.
All right.
And then he feels that rush, and he loves that, and he's like, hey, I'm good at this. And he becomes a career criminal who's a thief. Like, he's just really good, and he wears this,
Whoa! Are you pitching Pierre Despereaux from Psych?
no.
Okay.
That'd be great, though. But he wears this, like, brilliant blue suit, kind of like The Question, if you know who that is.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
And,
think I know who
people
that is.
so occasionally, like, he'll have, like, a blue fedora, kind of like The Question on.
Yeah. The Question. I feel like I know who that is.
Excuse me.
Okay.
And he'll like go around, and occasionally he'll be like on camera, but always like as the fedora happens. But as he's kind of reaching his, let's say, prime-ish, he gets captured. He gets arrested.
Okay.
And since this is a comic booky bullcrap world where I can make
So it
it
is a
happen,
comic book then?
Yes.
Okay.
He gets thrown into jail for like 30 years. So he's like, we'll say 40 years. So
Okay.
he's like a 60-year-old guy by the time he gets out of jail. He gets out of jail, and the world's different. So picture like
Okay. So
a guy from the 50s, like a hard-working, I'm clever, I learned how to do all these things.
go to jail.
And then come
40
out.
years later,
But
come out.
40 years later, but it's actually like, we'll say 2017, but a little bit futuristic. Kind of like how Marvel's supposed to be the world outside your window, but they also have like floating cars and laser guns sometimes too.
Yeah.
So kind of like that feel.
Okay.
So he comes out, and millennials and things are around. Right? So...
And he takes a new person under his wing, and like trains up a new kid.
No. He gets out, and he starts being a criminal again. We're trying, but he's freaking 60. But like he worked out, like he kept up on his stuff, right? So he's like 60
Wait.
years old.
Okay. So is he gonna be like? I'm sorry to interrupt, but like not to reference Avatar again, but remember when Iroh is in prison and he kind of acts like he's the crazy old man, but then like kind of in secret in prison. He works out, and then he's just like super jacked, and he busts out of prison. Not that this guy's gonna bust out of prison, but
He doesn't act crazy, but he is super jacked.
yeah, like he comes out of prison and he's in better shape than when he went in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I mean, he's a little bit slower.
Yeah.
His brain works like not as good. Like he physically, because he's older, can't jump as far, can't run as fast. And he sees this kid, and he gets so mad when he sees this kid, because this kid is calling himself, guess what?
What?
The Blue Jay.
Blue
and
Jay.
he wears this ridiculous, like over the top, like bird costume that's very flashy and has some like electronical components. So he has like, he can like walk up buildings, but he has like these talons that like crunch into the building. So he's like, but he'll just like walk up, right? And like he gets mad when he sees this. He's like, I put in the work. Like from the time I was 12, I was practicing this trade. And I think it'd also be fun to like play with the whole idea of like criminals know each other, and like I'm a getaway driver.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
like a
that kind of thing.
community.
Yes,
Yeah.
Like I do this. Like I hack.
It's like a trade. It's a trade.
It's very much. Yeah. So like he's like,
Okay,
I put in work to get good at this freaking trade. Like I put the work in. And this kid invents some stupid pair of boots and has these gliding like wing things. And he thinks that like he can take the name and persona that I like worked for years and years and did like heists that have not been matched today.
So now, what if you
Figure
had
out.
it like, okay, so if the criminals kind of know each other, it's like a community. Like, what if he's the nobody? Like he comes out like before he went into prison, everyone he was like top dog. Every criminal knew him, afraid of him. He comes out of prison, no one. He's like, oh yeah, I'm so and so back in the. And they're like, what the
Nobody
heck?
cares.
Who's
Yes,
that?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly, Ian.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, Ian, you're figuring out my story like perfectly. So Blue Jay or whatever, and I want him to be like a very like.
Like, is he gonna be kind of a geeky kid? Like, really?
This kid, yeah. Like, think of like a millennial, right? Like, he's like a kid. He still lives with his parents. He freaking has like, he wears those skinny jeans. He has a part-time job as a barista.
So
He's got,
literally,
like-
you're
he's
pitching
got, like-
yourself.
He's got like no.
You're
'cause
literally
he's got-
pitching yourself.
He's got like an actual beard and like a tattoo, like just like when you think of like the most millennial hipstery bullcrap person that you can think of this guy.
Okay.
We'll call him Peter.
Peter.
Because I can't think of anything else. So the real Blue Jay. Like,
Peter Parker.
No, I hate you. Oh, dude, and then like he gets bit by this spider, and then
Wait, okay, and then he lives with his aunt.
we're gonna do this bit again. No,
His uncle got killed because he was being,
because he was being a total fool.
stupid. Yeah.
What a dangus. No, so Blue Jay goes and
Hey, you did that during my bit.
well,
That's only fair.
it was very good. He goes and he figures out like who this kid is.
Okay.
And in the process of doing that, he like flips out on him. Like, I put the work in. The kid's like, just because that like I have a suit that makes it easier for me doesn't mean that I'm like less of a criminal than you are, or less good or have any less respect for this trade or craft. He's like, I invented what I use. Like, I worked on that. Like, I didn't put the time and hours into the same things you did. That
I
is
wasn't
true.
just some rich, spoiled kid who bought all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he built it, like,
so he's
from
actually
scratch,
a kid
okay.
who's like, I understand technology more than I like. So he's like, I'm not savvy as a person. Like, I think like it'd be fun to play with, like, because people say millennials can't talk to each other. They have bad social skills. They're always on their phones. He's like, I don't have great social skills. Like, I don't. But he's like, I'm a smart kid, and I use like and I want to like play around with like.
Okay.
He didn't go to engineering school or anything like that, or he's not an engineer student. He's a smart kid who retains information well and YouTubed around and Googled things and was able to invent and make this suit. So like kind of like the idea of like I just understand how the world and technology works nowadays, and I was able to make this thing that arguably makes me as good of a criminal as you were.
Marcus,
But
do you have a secret identity?
Yeah.
Is this you?
Yes.
Do you go out at night and you're the Blue
I'm
Jay?
a master criminal. No. So like it just be like.
Well, because when you described him, you described literally yourself, minus the beard and the tattoo.
Well, yeah.
But the working as a barista, the wearing the skinny jeans, living with his parents.
No, dude, I freaking don't wear skinny jeans. I wear jeans that are baggy as heck because
That's fair.
Like, yeah, but I couldn't think of anything else. What's another hipster millennial joke I can make? He has those snapbacks. I don't know. I can't think of anything. He has an earring. Give me another good one, Ian.
He
Quick.
doesn't text anymore. Uses Snapchat. Only Snapchat.
That's good. That was good. Oh boy.
It's true. It's probably the truest thing about millennials anymore.
Frick, I'm so bad at Snapchat.
Freaking hate Snapchat.
It's the worst.
It is.
So this kid, the way I see it is like.
Oh, by the way, we have a Snapchat now for the show.
Oh, but yeah, just look for us on Snapchat. I love it.
It's official LMPTTY.
Don't use that. Don't use that.
IAN and how do you spell your name, Marcus? MARK. No.
MAR. I don't know. The other day I forgot a letter in my name, and Ashley roasted the crap out of me. Thanks, hon.
No, we don't have a Snapchat.
You screw Snapchat.
Yeah.
But
for real.
So this guy, the real Blue Jay, and Peter decide to have a contest. They say, there's this moving target in the street that's going through here at this time, blah, 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 whatever. We both try to steal it. Whoever actually gets away with the thing wins.
Now, what is it going to be? Is it going to be like some like big, huge event where there's going to be... or is it just going to be like
think of like an armored car, but not like an armored car, but like that sort of thing.
So like when you say not an armored car, so is it going to be like there's like a bank is transferring
like
a lot of money at
jewel.
this specific time, and they have to
Yeah, but like I want to say it's like a jewel or something easier to hold, so it's not like you're.
So now is this going to be like kind of more comical or more very serious?
Very
Because I know there's a lot of shows like this, or there's a lot of ideas like where it's like kind of more comical, but there's some do go more the serious route. Like, is it going to be like these guys are criminals, they're bad, they kill people? It's going to be
they don't kill. No.
Okay, they don't kill.
Yes, but
it's serious like that, or is it kind of more comical? Like
a little more comical.
Okay.
Like they're not going. Like I'm never going to bring up like the moral issue of like our protagonists and the heroes of our story being thieves, like, and how that's not right.
Okay.
Like so, like more comical, but I'm not even to the point of it yet.
Okay.
Like
I'm
not.
sorry.
This is still like this will be in the comic book, like, but this is still origin story to the setup for like the
main story. Okay.
Yeah, like the meat and potatoes of our story. Like when we get to like the status quo. This is not the status quo.
Okay.
They start said heist. They both are competing for it. In the process of this, the old guy fails and gets caught again.
Oh, crap.
So does the kid. Now, they both fail and are brought to, let's just say S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, it's not going to be exactly like S.H.I.E.L.D. from Marvel. Like, think kind of like S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, they get brought to this, like, super secretive organization and all this stuff. And they say, hey, you're the Blue Jay from old school. You're the new Blue Jay. We might need your help for things.
Oh, okay.
So they sort of recruit them to start being like spies per se. We need you to sneak to this like mansion on top of a mountain where these bad guys are having a meeting, and you gotta like jump out of this plane and like go on the mountain and work your way up and sneak around, and you might have to be clever. But the way I kind of want it to work is like the old guy ends up having to put on the suit and accepting that technology isn't a bad thing and can actually help us. And I might not understand it per se, but it doesn't mean it's bad.
And the new guy has to start like using social skills and like being witty and all that, not just relying on technology.
Well, yes, but also he has to like the old guy he also has to accept the fact that like putting in the work isn't a bad thing, because the old guy puts on this suit that sort of augments his abilities, and boy, is he a baller at it. Even though he's old, he's like, oh, like, wait, like, this makes me stronger and faster than I was as a kid. Like, when I was, like, in my prime, I wasn't this strong, this fast, I couldn't do this many things, and this suit makes me like that. So this kid sees through this old guy who put in the work, just use his suit to do things that he didn't even think were possible and that he never could imagine doing, because he.
So is this gonna be like an Iron Man type suit, or is this more just like gadgets that he puts on?
Think like kind of like that. Think a lot. Did you see Spider-Man: Homecoming?
Yeah.
Think a lot like the Vulture suit in that.
Okay.
But with like more parts to it. To like less big, huge wings, and more like wings that will like stretch out and let him glide. And then he has like these big boots that he wears as like talons things. And he has like another thing on his hand, like he'll take off that and it's just his hand under it. So he's not like wearing a whole armor thing.
Okay, but it's more like parts and stuff where they...
Parts and gadgets and gizmos that are kind of work together, but he also has like a color scheme of a blue jay, and he has like a...
Yeah, versus like an Iron Man suit, like a whole legit armor thing.
Yeah, and we see just the idea of like the old man, and like the old man just being like, oh, like this makes me like young essentially again, like I'm able to like use these boots to help me run faster and jump higher and like jump further and stuff. But, like, oh boy, like you don't know like what I would have killed to be able to do this like when I was younger, and like so we see that like, hey, putting in the work and like being good at stuff is like a good thing, and we can play with more aspects of that as the as the comic goes on.
Okay.
But we can also play like fun things of like he's still a witty old guy. So like at one point, like I want to be like, okay, you're gonna have to think of like the guy in the chair being the computer hacker person, or whatever, like the Peter, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna need you to put the suit on and then like start doing this, and the old guy just like walks into the building and like just talks to the people as human beings, and is witty and clever and charming, and they kind of just walk him through the whole structure that he was gonna have him sneak through, and he's like, oh, and then like that's how you can get a little bit of that social aspect of like, hey, learning how to talk to a human isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, you should know how to do that. That's my whole pitch. That's pretty much it.
That's a good story. I like it. So now, shoot, I had a question. I don't remember what it was. So they're going to have to then start working together. Who's going to be the Blue Jay, or is that going to be, like, is the Blue Jay going to be the name of their team? Like, they are them together, they are Blue Jay. Okay.
Yes.
I could get behind that. I think that could be a good story. I feel like I've heard that somewhere. Like that's got to be something. I'm not trying to. I mean, it's definitely original.
I mean, everything has been done under the sun, but I've never heard it, and I've never heard it done this way with this aspect to it. But
that's cool, dude. I'd read a comic like that.
Yeah, and I drew.
How many issues do you want to have, or do you want it to kind of be ongoing?
It'd be an ongoing. I don't. Okay. I think like to be honest.
Like, would you want it to be where like, okay, the old guy dies, so the new guy becomes the younger guy becomes the old guy, then they get a new Blue Jay? Like, do you want it to be like that?
No.
Or do you want it to be once they're gone, that's it?
Yeah, like I think I would want it to be very much an Image comic book. To where like, here's my story. I have, let's say, at this point in time, I have 100 issues. I have 100 issues, and I have a beginning, a middle, and an end to an overarching story about these two characters and their adventures, and they go on these wacky adventures, and there's arcs to it and stuff, but there's a beginning and a middle and an end, and issue 100, my story ends. Nobody touches it ever again. That's what I want this to be. I don't know how it ends.
Okay.
I don't have an ending for it. I have the premise and the setup and the basics, but I think that like more often than not, things are very good and people make endings for things, and then people like
to add to it.
Yeah, and then people throw money at it, so they either get new people to work on it because, hey, I'm a TV company or I'm a comic book company, I own what you worked on. Or they just throw money at the person, and the person knows that it's a creatively bankrupt idea but needs a paycheck.
Yeah.
It does it anyway, and that's how you get like.
Well, I think
in an alternate reality where
consumers want more, like, even if it's garbage, trash sequels, people want sequels because they have become attached to the characters and they want to know what happens and they want to keep knowing what happens. They want to follow those characters as they follow their own life, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, they want those characters' lives to go parallel with their own lives and, like, continue to go. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. And
so, like that's a good idea to put a stop on it, because otherwise, no matter what, people are going to want more.
I think people more often than not do put a stop on it. For instance, like, Ian, let's say we lived in a garbage trash world where Heroes, you know the TV show Heroes that has like 21 episodes and that's it?
Yeah. Just season 1? And
Yeah,
they stopped it there,
there's a complete arc to it, and you find out that like there's a show called Heroes about, and there's an arc to the.
And then it ends in season 1. Like, season 1 ends perfectly, and they it was like genius.
Yeah, and the guy Nathan, who's kind of a bad guy, like kind of like a jerk and not accepting of his powers, at the very end becomes a hero and makes the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
And it's this great thing that like the person you didn't expect goes first full circle, becomes the hero of the show Heroes, and then the show ends for forever. But if we existed in a garbage trash world where they just threw money at that creator, to where he had to make, like, let's say 3 more seasons of that show.
Yeah,
like,
and they were all terrible. And then, like, the guy who killed him, who, like, sacrificed himself somehow came back alive.
Or the guy that exploded didn't die.
Yeah.
Or Lost. Or there was more than 4 seasons of Lost. Like, think like that. Like,
well, there kind of had to be more than 4 seasons of Lost because
bull crap.
No, I'm not saying it was good.
If Lost ended at season 4, it would have been.
I'm trying to think if I watched past season 4, but I didn't watch much past it if I did. But the thing is that like
it ends on a huge cliffhanger and nothing's answered. However, that is a much better ending to Lost.
The way I never watched the ending. I never watched it.
Oh boy.
I feel like with Lost, like Heroes was written in a way that it ended perfectly. Season 1 ended, which is why in our world that's it. But
no, that's it. That's all that exists.
Yeah.
Heroes. There's this TV show called The Heroes that has 21 episodes.
But Lost was written in a way that it's like you have to have an ending even if it's trash because
I disagree. I think
it was the way it was written because it wasn't written with like a beginning to an end. I feel like it was written in that like let's just see how far we can take this. Let's just keep going. You get what I'm saying?
Well, yes,
like
but
everything like there would be something like okay, this is the answer. No, this isn't the answer. And then like
yeah, but I think that saying? Like I think Lost ending. I honestly do. I thought about Lost so much because I watched all of Lost in like 2 weeks because my family was out of town and I was like dog sitting and Ashley was also out of town. So like I just watched TV like for a lot and like hung out with my dog and it was a lot of fun actually. But I watched all of Lost in 2 weeks. I was so mad at that ending. I was like, oh, I get why everybody got so mad. I honestly do. And again, like, I'm not the most creative person. So, like, somebody has a better ending to Lost, like, freaking email the show, because I'd love to hear it. But I honestly do think that, like, the best ending to Lost would have been, like, at the end of anywhere between seasons 1 through 4, or if seasons 5 and 6 didn't get bad, but, like, they kept going, as weird and bizarre as they were, and special as they were. Just like I think the best ending Lost could ever get was just Lost then gets canceled between seasons. So like let's say season 3, Lost got canceled at the end of it. So there's no season 4. I think that like an ending where nothing's answered, everything's on the cliffhanger, you don't know what's going on, is the best possible ending for a show like Lost.
I could agree with that.
Like you don't know, like they don't
get rescued.
Like,
they don't figure anything out.
They don't figure anything. Yeah, like it just ends.
I mean, no one dies, so because that makes people unhappy. So I guess that's a plus. But you also don't have to. I hate it when they purposely like try to not make people die because then it's like it's cheesy. But then it's like you don't have to worry about trying to figure out a way to kill off characters, bring in new characters. Like you just end it.
Yeah, like I think.
I get what you're saying there.
I think Lost, like, I think the best ending that Lost could have possibly had was just, it ends. Nothing gets answered, nothing changes, like, nothing, because, like...
I mean, I feel like the thing is people get unhappy with that.
Yeah, however, but I think that if people broke it down, they would understand, like...
You take a show like Firefly, I'm going to use that for example, that got canceled, and then people started watching, people love it now. And if it wouldn't have gotten canceled, I can imagine that it wouldn't be as loved by its niche group of fans as it is.
I disagree with that also.
Because it was canceled, there's just this little... It's like if you had... Like, 1 diamond is more precious than 1,000 diamonds. You get what I'm saying? So, like, in that aspect of Lost being canceled, it's like... Then you have this really great TV show that's ended, and it's kind of like... It's not complete, but it's like a gem versus, like, trying to keep it going, so then you have 1,000 gems, but they're worthless.
But I think the most complete ending for Lost is not an ending. It's the show just, they don't make more, like, they don't try to make a conclusion. The show just stops airing. And then, because, like, a show like Lost that makes everybody think and is always, like, you're so skeptical and you're always left in the dark about so much stuff that, like, a show ending with you almost completely in the dark and then just you thinking for yourself, this is what I think is going to happen. Like, I think that, like...
And then cut at the end of the credits. It shows a Hurley with a knife and everyone's dead. And he just rules the island. Hurley. He was the best character.
Wait, whoa.
No, Hurley...
Wait, you're saying that, like...
The end of the show, Hurley kills everyone.
Weezer's CD manifests arms and stabs people on the Lost Island? I don't...
Hurley.
Yeah, Weezer's CD.
The character on Lost.
Whoa, I don't... Yeah, I get it. It was a joke. Yeah, but, like, no, I think that, like, that's the best ending to Lost. Is, like, is it ends and then us using the clues. Because, like, I think that, like, rewatching Lost now is like a disappointment because you're like, oh, the show ends crappy and bad. But like, if it just ended and we're left in the dark, and this is a huge tangent that we should cut and release,
just realized
not as part of the thing, because like, oh boy, but
this is a long, long bunny
just
trail.
cut this out and put this as a different thing.
This is a good.
But like, I think Lost, like if it doesn't have an ending, because like the ending that they get is so bad, but like it doesn't have an ending. You can then, like, Lost is then, like, an infinite rewatchable thing, because you're like, oh, like, wait, what does this little bit here in season 1 mean for, like, season 4? Like you can always dig in and have fan theories and stuff, and you can do infinite amount of that. But the way that they ended Lost, you can't do that anymore because you see how it ends. And you can try to figure out what the ending means, but the ending's too vague and bullcrap and rushed and horrible to really fix or mess around with.
I got burned out of it, so I never watched the ending, but I've heard it's terrible. Didn't it end like... Didn't the island wasn't supposed to be like purgatory or something? Was it you that told me that?
Okay, I
don't want to get all into it. We can't get into it on the show, but...
Here's what happens at the very end of Lost. All the characters go to a church. Well, you see, like, Jack go to... That's his name, Jack Shepherd, right?
Jack. Yeah.
Sure. The main character, doctor guy, goes to a church, and then, like, it turns out that, like, everybody who died on the island, except for, like, some actors that they couldn't get back, but it's supposed to be everybody, where you're like, hey, this guy's missing. You didn't get the actor back or whatever. So everybody went to the island. They go there, and they see Jack's dad. If you remember, Jack had, like, seen visions of his dad and stuff.
Yeah.
They see Jack's dad.
He goes to a church on the island.
No. They're all off the island.
Oh, that's right. They do get off the island at
some point. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't remember because it was bad and I try to forget it. They all go to a church. They see each other. He opens up a coffin. I think he sees himself. Everybody turns around and like hugs each other, and then they all kind of just fade to white.
That's how it ends?
That's the ending of Lost.
Wow. That's...
Yeah, real bad.
That's terrible. I'm glad I didn't watch that.
Let's wrap up our show.
Yeah.
That was so long.
That was the longest bunny trail ever. If you have any comments, questions, or theories about our discussion about Lost, you can send that in too as well. You can vote for me. You're not allowed to vote for Marcus anymore. That's a rule made up by the podcast police. I'm sorry. It's a rule, Marcus. You can't. You're not allowed to vote for Marcus. You can vote for me though. Or if you have your own ideas, send in your own ideas. Letmepitchthistoyou at gmail.com.
Follow us on social media. Thank you, Tim Schoenfeld,
for the theme song. Thank you, Matt Sampson, for being so dedicated to the show, even though you have a busy life. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, not Snapchat because we hate Snapchat.
1, 2, 3.
When others are trapped in their beds, that's when I am free. Thanks to Footy Pajama.